Hello, Artem. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me. To begin with, I would like to ask you if you could introduce yourself and maybe explain to LEC fans what your job and role within the LEC exactly is.
For sure. Salut, Brieuc. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for doing this interview. And hello, everybody watching. My name is Artem Bykov. I'm the commissioner for the LEC. Been in this role for a year and a half now. And in short, my role is to be responsible for the day-to-day operations of the LEC.
Thank you so much. So, for this LEC split, one notable thing is I think we had a lot of success that can be shown, for example, in the viewership numbers. Could you maybe tell me more about why the viewership increased for this split?
Yeah, for sure. The winter split has been fantastic for us, and I can reveal now that we've had the highest AMA ever in terms of viewership for an LEC split, which is fantastic. And this success has been really years in the making. For example, a big part of the success is the LEC Esports ecosystem in the EMEA, the combination of the amateur circuits, the ERLs that we've been building for years. They really helped us to make this success happen. To give you a few examples, if we look at the final weekend of the winter split, we've had a phenomenal story of the rookies against all odds, winning Fnatic, winning BDS, and Medline Score advancing to the grand final and playing against G2. This story wouldn't have been possible if we didn't have this whole ecosystem where the rookies could have a clear path to pro. And that's something we didn't achieve overnight. That's something we've been building here in EMEA for years. And there are other factors as well, of course. The new LEC format, we introduced it a year ago. It played a big role. The costuming trial, we started doing it at the start of the last year, and we enhanced and developed the program for this year as well. So there are many reasons, and we can now say that without a doubt, it's been, when it comes to the viewership, the most successful LEC split ever.
So I'm glad you mentioned ERLs because personally I'm a big ERL fan, and I wanted to ask you if you see ERLs and regional leagues in Europe as a whole as a way to benefit to LSC and, for example, develop talent, maybe even organizations to possibly join to LSC later? Or do you value the growth of ERLs individually? Like, do you think it's good for the LSC if ERLs have a growing fan base, or are you in competition against the fan bases ERL can have?
ERLs are a little bit outside of my remit, but I'll speak about it a little bit on behalf of the team. When you look at the LoL esports ecosystem in the EMEA, LEC and ERLs are usually taking the most spotlight, but our ecosystem is more than this. For example, we work very closely with our publishing team, with our country managers on creating a holistic ecosystem that has amateur circuits, national leagues, ERLs that are true and clear path to pro for the pro gamers in our sport. I think ERLs absolutely play a huge role in the success of our league. Again, if you look at the winter split, and if you look at many folks who play at the LEC, right? Look at Elyoya, look at Oscarinian. They have their roots coming into the amateur, going into being picked up by the ERLs teams, and then making it to the main roster. So ERLs play a huge role, and when we also look not only at the pro players, but we also look at the local communities and the fan bases that ERLs help to build. These have been phenomenal as well, right? Let's take KC as an example, right? They managed, using LFL as a platform over years, build such a powerful brand and such a powerful and passionate fan base that was only possible thanks to ERL. So we absolutely think it's a critical piece for the success of our ecosystem and for the fostering of pro players in our community.
Interesting. So you mentioned KC that came from ERLs. Do you think that Karmine Corp was a big part in the increase of viewership for the LEC? And if that's the case, did the LEC help Karmine Corp join the league?
Look, there are many reasons that played a role in the success of this winter split, and KC is one of them. There is no doubt that they brought a very passionate, very dedicated fan base that impressed us all, with all their activations on site. That said, KC is not the only team who is contributing to this success. So we are also very grateful to all other LEC teams who are working with their fan bases, with their communities, and helping to grow the fan base and the viewership of LEC in general.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, still about the viewership, some people would argue that co-streaming is contributing also to this increase of numbers. How much do you think that would be the case?
Clustering played a huge role in the success. That's why we started, the trial last year, and we moved very carefully and developed the program step by step, making sure it fits very nicely into our overall ecosystem. Right now, our co-streaming trial is at the best spot as it's ever been. You've seen fantastic viewership results, from several co-streams. You've probably seen that we added the co-streaming booth at the Riot Games arena here in Berlin that also enabled some unique interactions on the broadcast, right? It's not only about the viewership. If you look at the final Medline Skoi games, I absolutely love to see the reaction cams from Ibai's booth. I think they really added to the to the moment and to this celebration of the LEC. We are very happy where our cost streaming program it is right now and how it developed over the past month and years, and it played a big role in our success.
Interesting. So you mentioned eBay, you mentioned Karmine Corp earlier. I think the personalities linked with those teams are strongly affiliated with certain countries in Europe. So I wanted to ask you if you see this rivalry between countries, nationalities as a good thing for the LEC?
Yeah, absolutely. In our region, the diversity of EMEA is our big strength, right? We have so many countries who are part of this region, and we absolutely want to celebrate this rivalry. I think that the Spanish fans and the French fans, they really leveled up the game when it comes to the fan interaction in the studio, and it's also set an example for everybody else, to go and try a little bit more out there. So yes, we love seeing this, and we love that this kind of rivalry becomes one of the features of the LEC.
Yes, it was definitely really fun this split to see the
Nice,
crowd with French
hear.
fans, Spanish fans. I loved seeing it on the broadcast, so I think it's amazing for the LEC too. But talking about the crowd in the arena, because the LEC started in a revamped arena this year, I wanted to ask you, how did the LEC take advantage of this new arena?
In many ways. Last year, the arena went through a transformation, and we got a whole variety of upgrades that we can now use to create awesome experiences for our fans. To name a few, I think almost everyone who works at the studio and who enjoys the show, the pro players, the writers and the crew who work on the show, the teams, the fans, they all received more space in the arena, which we are now using in very clever ways to improve quality of life for everybody. We spoke about the costuming booth that is an opportunity we didn't have before. Now we can bring several costumers to the arena, which has been fantastic. And also, to be frank with you, it's just the beginning for us, right? We spent the winter split really learning what are all the tools we have in our repertoire right now, and how can we use them. And we are now looking forward to how can we make the most out of everything we have at the arena for the spring and the summer split. So really excited about with what we've done with the arena, and it's a pleasure to go there every weekend and enjoy the show.
I was also wondering regarding the crowd and having fans at events, if the LEC plans to have more roadshows in the future, because with the new format we only have one finals at a special location, while for example in the LFL we see multiple roadshows a year, for example with the recent LFL days.
Look, currently, I'll be clear, we don't plan to add new shows to the LEC. With the current the climate for our industry, we got to be realistic with what we can achieve. Sustainability is the number one priority for the LEC right now, and with that, we currently don't plan to add additional roadshows to the league.
Okay. Earlier you also mentioned that right now we are only at the beginning of the success in LEC, and recently you announced a deal with Kia that for three more years, which personally I was impressed about, because I think it's difficult to have long-term partners within esports. So I was wondering what advantage you get from finding partners such as Kia or other partners for the LEC, and how do you select those partners?
For sure, thanks for the question, and I'm glad that you noticed the multi-year nature of this partnership, and this is for us one of the most important things in those partnerships. The fact that that the majority of those that we announced this year, they are multi-year. For us, it is a true testament that the partners trust the LEC, and it's a testament to the strength of our league, right? Kia, LG, KitKat, they already became the brands that are associated with our league. And this year we also added Uber Eats, which is a fantastic, brand that I think is going to resonate greatly with our fans and with our community. So I'm very happy when it comes to the partnerships that we were able to secure.
Yeah, it's true that those partnerships feel like a part of the LEC, because at the last LEC finals I ate a lot of KitKat. So
nice.
Nice. It's nice to see such brands being integrated in esports. But regarding potential partners, I wanted to ask a question regarding the increase of the minimum age for the LEC, which was increased to 18 for this year. So can I ask why this change was made?
Of course. Let me run you through this. Before we made this change, we evaluated very closely what are the needs of our teams, what has been the age history of the players playing in the LEC, and in the current economic environment, it is critical for us to enable opportunities for the teams, to reach sustainability. And by raising the age limit, we enabled new revenue opportunities, new revenue streams for the teams, an opportunity to secure new sponsorships, which I think is going to be very important to them. When it comes to sustainability, it is one of the ways how we support the teams, not the only one. You've also probably heard about the sporting financial regulations that we announced last year. There are also a bunch of other things we do on the background. So we are looking for the ways how to help the team, And we don't take the decisions lightly. We want to make sure that they don't hinder, the pathways for the pro players in our ecosystem, That's why, for example, in the ERLs, the entry age still remains at 16.
Yes.
So we are making those steps very carefully, and always making sure that those changes, they have a positive impact on our ecosystem as a whole.
So we have talked a lot about the success of the LECT split, but one success that I think a lot of European fans would like to see for the region is international success at competition at MSI at Worlds. I was wondering if the LEC does anything to improve the success of the teams of our region.
Look, we always think about this. I love watching our teams play at MSI and play at Worlds. This is the time where I can, be unbiased and show my fandom for the EMEA teams, and it always, on our mind. How can we help the teams? And to be frank, there are limited ways. How can we help here, right? We still do look for them all the time. When you think of the new LEC format that we introduced last year, right? That was one of the ways for us to support the teams by increasing the amount of best-of matches. We gave the teams more opportunities to practice these games that they can then, play on the international arena. Another change that we did this year specifically, we tweaked our calendar a little bit, so the teams will have a bigger break before going to the MSI. We look at the ways how we can, support the teams, and we act upon those. And whenever we look at any other decisions that will impact the future of the league, this is always one of the considerations that we are also, putting in the table. Hey, how would this change help our teams to perform on the international stage? Because there is, of course, connection to the performance there, and then the excitement that translates onto the LEC shows.
So regarding the format that was introduced last year, the fact that we have 3 splits now, do you see this as a success? And I was especially wondering if you don't fear that having 3 finals before having the split finals at the end of the year makes each final feel less important, because that's one sentiment I have personally.
I think the results of the new format experimentation has been fantastic. We love it. We think it brought the excitement in the league to the new level. Of course, when you look at the previous format, when we only have 2 splits a year, you have less, final shows, and it makes them more exclusive in a sense. That said, we think that this trade-off is absolutely worth making. And also, if you look at the winter split final, our team is also trying really hard to utilize all the resources we have in the studio to make the final feel special. And I think we did an amazing job with the winter split final and the whole winter theme. So we're also trying to do more with what we have in the arena.
Okay, interesting. So I have one last question following all this good news we have discussed. One bad news for some people we had this split is regarding the LEC layoffs. So I wanted to ask you how the layoffs we saw in LEC during this winter split affected our competition and the whole organization of the competition.
Thanks for asking this question. It's an important one to address. The layoffs affected us in many ways, and it's been a difficult time for us to go through. The impact on the LEC has been, reported on in social media, and there have been impacts shortly after on the product itself. We do, however, think that right now we are already at the spot where we provide, the show at the quality level that we think our fans deserve. And lastly, we mentioned this on the broadcast and our social media. I want, on behalf of the team, to express gratitude to our former colleagues, because the success of this winter split would not have been possible without them.
Okay, thank you so much. Final question: would you have any words for the LEC fans?
Thank you very much for following the LEC. Thank you very much for showing your passion, showing your love for the game, for our teams, for our league. The amazing winter split wouldn't have been possible without you. And looking forward to break more records and impress you folks later in the year with the spring and the summer splits.
Thank you so much, Artem. Thank you for this interview, and I'm really looking forward as well to the future LEC splits.
Thank you very much, Brieuc. Thank you for having me.